Today I'm going to be showing you the basics of crochet, starting with the single crochet. There are 3 different ways that you can do single crochet, and we'll get into them a little bit more later, but basically they're going through both loops, which is the standard, unless a pattern specifically tells you that you're going to crochet through the back loop or the front loop. You always crochet through both loops. This is what it would look like if you crocheted through the back loop. You'll see how it makes a ribbing that's pretty stretchy. And then if you crochet only through the front loops, it gives you a little bit thinner fabric, and it gives you these little lines that go across, and it's a little bit airier. So we're going to start with single crocheting through both loops, and we're going to need our crochet hook and our yarn. And the first thing that we do is we're going to put a slip knot on our crochet hook. And we're going to do that by holding the tail in our right hand and the working yarn, which is attached to the ball, in our left hand. We're going to make an overhand loop by bringing our right hand over our left hand. And then we're going to take the working yarn and we're going to push it through and catch it on the other side. And then we pull that tight. We're going to insert our hook into this loop, and we're going to pull the working yarn to make it tight. The way that I like to hold the yarn is it goes over my index finger and then under my middle finger. And then I'm going to hold with my middle finger and my thumb. I'm going to hold the knot that we just made. Now whatever you're crocheting starts with a chain. And the way that we're going to chain is we're going to bring our crochet hook underneath this strand to catch the yarn. And we're going to bring it through the loop that's already on our hook. As I go through, I kind of lift up, and we've just chained 1. So I'm going to chain 10 for you. So we're going to grab the yarn again, and we're going to bring it through, and then bring it through again. After I do a 2 or 3, I like to move my fingers up so that I'm still holding. I'm going to move my fingers up again. And then if you lose count, you can count by counting these little V's. See kind of how it made a braid? So you don't count the knot at the bottom. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the one that's on the hook is 10. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work back on our chain, and we're going to go insert the hook into the second chain. So not this one, the next one. We're going to grab our yarn, and we're going to bring it through just that first strand. So there are 2 loops on our hook. And then we're going to wrap around and bring it through both loops. And that is a single crochet. So now we go to the next chain. This one got stretched out because we used it. So we go to the next chain, insert, grab the yarn, bring it through, grab the yarn, and go through both. And we're going to do this all the way across. In, grab 1, grab, and go through 2. And we're just going to keep doing this until we get to the end. If you make a mistake and one doesn't come out the way you want, or you put it in the wrong stitch, simply take your hook off and then pull the yarn. We're just working 1 stitch at a time, and then you just insert your hook again and you're ready to continue. You don't have to worry about putting all the stitches back on your hook. And you'll also see how I'm kind of holding everything with my left hand, and really my right hand is doing all the movements. So the last one here is our slip stitch. We're not going to go into that one. So if we count, well, we should have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So each row is going to have 9 stitches. We're going to chain 1, and now we're going to turn, and we turn by just moving our work to the left. And that's it. So now, unless the pattern tells you that the turning chain, which is what we just did, counts as a stitch, your first stitch of the row is going to go right down below the turning chain. So I'm going to insert from front to back underneath. And then I'm going to grab the yarn and I'm going to bring it through for 2 loops. I grab it again to go through the last 2. Then we go to the next stitch. And you're going to continue until you get to the other side, and you'll also have 9 stitches. And it's important that you count until you really get used to what you're doing, because we don't want our work to end up like a triangle. And then here, if we look, we'll see that it looks like there's kind of a limp at the side, so that means we didn't get to the end yet. We had to do one more stitch. And now you'll see how both sides look even. So this next row, I'm going to show you how you could crochet into different loops. So instead of going under both loops right here, let's go into the back loop. And if we look at the top again, we see these little V's. We're going to go from the top down towards the back and then just crochet like normal. So we go down and back into this one loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both. And that's how we work in the back loop. And you'll see that it actually looks like the fabric is starting to bend. That's exactly what you want. And you're just going to keep going into the back loop all the way across till you get to the end. We've got one more. We chain 1, we flip our work, and then you could do the same thing, still going into the back loop. Now, if you wanted to switch and go into the front loop, let's take these 2 out. Okay, I took my turning chain out. I like to chain before I turn, so I'm going to chain again and turn. Now I'm going to go into the front loop, and the front loop I approach from the bottom. So the bottom I go up and I just grab this one loop and we just crochet like normal. So you'll see if you look at the back of the work, there's a loop here that we haven't used. We're just going to leave that. We go all the way to the end. And this is what you'll be doing. So we keep the same number of stitches. If we stop here again and look, you'll see we haven't quite gotten to the end of the row. So we do one more. And that is how you do the single crochet.